for TUG. Good afternoon, this is Gloria Nelson with TUG, and I'd like to welcome you to this afternoon's webinar. But before we get started, wanted to give you a quick reminder to save the date for our upcoming TUG Connects 2020 conference. We are happy to announce today that we have finalized and confirmed our keynotes for the TUG 2020 conference. Nick Tasler is going to be doing our keynote presentation on Monday, March 9th. Nick, for those of you who may not know, is an author and thought leader and will deliver the keynote on Monday, March 9th. He's an internationally acclaimed thought leader, organizational psychologist, and #1 best-selling author of 4 counterintuitive books on the art and science of making decisions and leading change. And the following day, on Tuesday, March 10th, we will have the new Infor CEO, Kevin Samuelson, who will be presenting on changes coming from Infor, and also from Kelly Squazzaro, Infor's Director of Industry and Solution Strategies, on changes and distributions in the distribution industry. So make sure you save the dates and watch the TUG website for more information about registration. And without any further ado, it is my pleasure this afternoon to introduce Kevin Lawson from E&A, who will be introducing his team.
Thanks, Gloria. And I appreciate you hosting us today in the webinar, and we're excited to bring this product designed specifically for fax. So as she's transitioning over, welcome everybody on the line today. We're glad you're here. We appreciate you giving us some time out of your day. We recognize that time is valuable, so we'll try and get right to the point for you and make the most out of our time here. Like Gloria said, my name's Kevin Lawson. I work for Ernst & Associates, and I am a former fax user, so I've sat in some or all of the seats that you all sit in who are on this call. And today I'm joined by a couple of peers actually, Dale Winterbauer. He runs our entire fax business unit. He's our fax business unit manager. He's also a former fax user, and we're excited to be here with you today. Probably the man that needs no introduction here is Tim Plotner, but for those of you who don't know, Tim, in addition to architecting a lot of the fax system and developing it over a number of years with a career at Infor, Tim has come and joined us in the last year where he's our Director of Emerging Technologies. So the three of us will bring to bear today the Pro Mobile Access product. Now, just a sanity check for everybody, this is a fax-only product. It was built with salespeople in mind, outside salespeople, and we want to make sure we call out specifically what this product is. It is fax at your fingertips, right? It's taking fax out of the office to your mobile phones and tablets so you can be more productive as a sales organization. We have some customers that are giving us feedback on how they're using this. So this is a live product. This has been out for a few years, but customers are telling us right now they use this in 3 main areas of their business. They use it for creation, access, and communication. So for the creation piece, they're really talking about orders and quotes, right? They're creating those orders, and that's a value to them and to their sales folks to be more mobile and focused on their customer service. Access, we refer to this as account-centric data, but they're telling us what that is in practice is they're able to access things like AR and quotes and invoices and work order numbers and pricing and availability, all focused on your customers is what I'm trying to say, all focused on your customers with their hierarchy and pricing respected. Third major piece is communication. This is a modern tool built on modern technology, and it's capable of delivering email and phone and all kinds of hyperlinked information from the tool itself. And what you're seeing there on the left side of the screen is an actual screenshot. So it's meant to be visible and useful on your phone. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what our customers are saying about this, and then I'm going to hand the controls over to Dale to actually do the demo for you. So on your screen now, you should be seeing a couple of quotes from one of our customers, and these are useful, but what's of interest here and not written on the screen is that this same customer is also telling us that 70% of their orders are now coming through from their sales folks to the fax system. Now, I don't know what 70% of your orders might look like, but for this customer, it's a really big deal, and they're touting that as how their sales organization has adopted it and made it part of their sales culture. This is for them has been installed for a couple of years, so we have a track record that we've built with them, so we're really excited to bring that to bear as an opportunity for you as well. Onward and upward. I'm going to hand the controls over to Dale because I'm sure you are all anxious to see the product. So Dale, take it away from here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. As Kevin introduced me, I'm Dale Winterbauer. I'm the Fax Business Unit Manager, and I'm going to take you through some of the functionality of ProMobile and show you how it works. A little housekeeping for this. ProMobile is a web-based program. It's not an app. It's just a website. It's a hosted site that we host. There is a login process. It's fully secured, and it's designed to run on basically any internet-enabled device you have. Most of our customers are on tablets right now, both Android and Apple tablets, but we do have a few smartphone users and computer users, laptop users. So this demo is on my laptop. It looks the same on any device that you have. So I'll get started here. ProMobile is basically a customer-centric sales tool. That means that in order to use this, you have to start by going to a customer. So this first screen you're seeing is the customer chooser, basically, where you select your customer you want. We have 3 fields on here that you can choose from. These are search criteria, so you can put in part of a name and do a search on that, or if you know the customer number, you can type it in. I'm going to type the word South to get started and submit that, and you see it matches 3 customers. We can show what the status is and just the name and the territory that they're in. You can search on any of those 3 to get what you're looking for, which customer. Once you find the customer you want, you just click on their number, and it'll take you to what we call our customer home screen. The home screen is where basically everything activates from. It has their basic customer information, hyperlinking for the email. If you're on a smartphone, you get your hyperlinks for the phone number. The addresses can be Google mapped, so we link to that. So if you click on that, it'll take you out to the mapping tool for Google, and you can get driving directions if you don't know how to get there. We also have the ship to addresses that are defined for each customer, so you can map those also. I'm going to kind of go through quickly here and generate an order just so you can kind of see the pieces that go on with that. And then I'm going to come back and talk a little bit more about some of the screens that we're going to go through here now. So the waffle menu at the top, this is kind of how you get your navigation to get to other screens. So I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to go to item inquiry. And item inquiry has a variety of searches also. For my first example, I'm just going to bring up a real part number. This is the demo data. Everyone should recognize it. When you bring that up, part of the summary information that you see is the available quantity in the warehouse. We do support multiple warehouses, so your default warehouse is showing up in the top. You can change that if you need to whatever warehouse you want your default to be. From here, we have a menu button beside the item number. If you click on that, you can go into this part and just add it to the cart. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pick a quantity of 1. You have to hit the calculate button to get the right price. We use all of the fax rules to pull correct customer pricing for a part. If you're allowed to overwrite the price, which is a system setting for each customer, you can type in a different unit cost or a gross margin to come up with the unit cost. So if I say I want $200 for the price, you'll see it also changes the margin to what it'll be. If I come over the margin and I change that to 45, it'll adjust the price. We also have a spot for notes. This is the sales order line notes. So we fully support the header and line notes on sales orders. So if you want to type something in there, you just type what you want. You can decide if you want it on the pick, ticket, or invoice. And if you got this the way you want, you just click on Add. And you'll see up at the top of the screen with the shopping cart. And we have one line and one unit in it. I'm going to add a couple more lines to this order just to show you one other feature here quickly. That's our shopping list. This is a list of all items purchased by the customer over a period of time that is set by the user. In here, you can just go through and click on the quantity on any of these items, type in your quantity that you want, and if you want to override the price or the margin, you can do that in here. When you get what you want picked in here for ordering, you click on Add to Cart, and it added those 2 lines to the cart. Now we have 3 lines with 3 units on the cart. So now I'm just going to go through and send this order into fax. So we'll go to the shopping cart screen. You can see our 3 lines there. I'll talk about some of these features of this here when we come back with our second order and get into a little more detail. But for right now, I'm just going to place this on order. And it'll come up and do an order total to make sure that everything is correct. It's actually pinging the fax system to make sure that all the information on this cart is accurate. And then you hit up order again, and it creates the order. So we've got order 1927. I can then go back to the customer home screen by clicking on the customer number in the title bar, go to the waffle menu, open orders, and this is the order I just created. You can then drill into this, and if you want to send your customer an order acknowledgement, you just click the send button, type in the customer name, which we allow a contact list for each customer that you can set up so you don't have to keep typing it in. And fill in the subject and body, hit send. At this point, it's sending a request to your fax system to print an unformed document of the order acknowledgement and then email it off to the customer. Later in the demonstration, I'll get a copy of that and I'll bring it up and show you what that looks like. So that's the basics of ProMobile. So now I want to go back and spend a few minutes just talking about some of the details of some of these screens and some additional information that is available to you. So we're going to talk about the customer information first. I already showed you that you can get to open orders. We also support quotes and invoices. The quote feature is only available if you have fax version 9.0.1 or above. That's when Infor released their quote APIs, and we took advantage of those once they became available. The screens look the same. Basically, you get a summary when you go into it, and you can drill down into these if you want to see the information. The customer summary screen is another screen that is available for customer information. This is the one that was on the PowerPoint screenshot. It's your aging for the customer, shows some payment and sale history, shows your open order balance, this open sales orders, and your AR balance for the customer. If you click on these hyperlinks, you can go into the open orders and you will see this is the same order list that you got when you went through Open Docs for the orders. So you can drill into this if you want and send it from here or from the Open Docs. The AR balance shows you all transactions that make up the open AR, including invoices, on order, on account, credit memos, and finance charges. You can drill into any of these. It's on the invoice number, and you'll see the invoice, what it was made up of on this total, and this is for orders, quotes, and invoices. If you click on the down arrow, it will tell you what that total is made up of. If there's sales tax, discount, freight, it'll show all that in here. You can also send invoices directly to the customer, so by clicking the send here. We also have a hyperlink on the balance for the AR. So if you have an invoice that's partially paid, you can click on the balance and get a payment history for what made up that balance. So that's the basic information that we have on the customers that's available. This is all real-time information. Most of this screen here comes from the customer file maintenance and customer ship to file maintenance. If you go into your fax system and make a change in there, this will reflect that change the next time you refresh this screen or bring up this customer. One additional feature that we have added, and this is one that is not out in production yet. This is in our test environment, and it's our latest feature that we'll be pushing out in the next week or so, is customer notes. So we now support customer notes. So you can see any of your customer notes that are up there on the screen. We also are doing that for item notes, and that is going to get released in the next week or so. This product is an ever-evolving product. We have a list of changes that we put in as general changes that all customers get, and we also have the ability to customize this to individual customers. So you are not stuck with just what's here. If you like this product and have some specific things that you do, we can incorporate that in. Okay, so next I'm going to go back to the item inquiry. As I said, you got a bunch of search features, including interchange if you want to use that. The description search has a little additional capabilities. So if you type, for instance, truck, you will get the list of everything that has a truck in it. But if you want to see what has truck, if you want to see everything that has the word truck and the word hand in it, you can do that by typing the word truck and then putting a plus sign and the word hand. That's an and search. So it'll search for anything that has truck and hand in the results. And if you click on the submit button now, you'll see you only have things that are hand trucks. We support up to 3 different segments in that and search, which helps for narrowing down your list and finding your part quickly if you don't know the item number. I'm going to go through these options on the item screen. So we have the detail, which is basically, most people use it for figuring out who the primary vendor is. It also tells you when the last sale and purchase of the part was. This is not customer specific, it's just the last time it was sold to a customer. We also have the item notes up here for the items. On the pricing screen, this is where you'll see most of your detail information that you would need on this part. So when it comes up, it starts with a quantity of 1 in whatever the default selling unit of measure is for the part. You can change those 2 items at the top. If you change, for instance, the quantity, it will clear out everything below. You have to click submit to refresh that information. That's done on purpose because if you change your unit of measure, all of these values change based on what you pick. So we clear it out, you have to resubmit it, and it will give you the current information. Below the buttons, you have your pricing. The customer's price is $228 or $684 for the 3 of them. We have list pricing here. Below that section, we have your warehouses. So we support any or all of your warehouses. That is a setting there for which warehouses you allow being seen in ProMobile. We show the available quantity in each warehouse. This is the actual available that can be put on a sales order. If there's parts on order, we'll show that. If those parts are on order from a PO, we'll show the next PO coming in and how many are coming in on that PO. Below that section, we have your standard price level breaks and quantity breaks. And below that is your past 3 transactions for this customer for the part. So you can see what you sold the part to the customer for recently. This information is all here mostly for reference. And the reason we do that is because when you add it to the cart, if you have the ability to override, we want you to know kind of what your price breaks are and things to help you figure out what you want to override the price to. I'm going to add this part, and it's now added onto the cart with a quantity of 3. I'm going to go now to the shopping list, which is where a lot of our customers go to create new orders for customers. So the shopping list, as I said, is your past sales. By default, it's the past 90-day sales for the customer. You can set it on a user-by-user basis to whatever time period you want. So I wouldn't go much higher than a year because the more data you're pulling in, the longer it takes to refresh. So be aware of that, especially for customers that buy a lot of parts from you. With this list, you can sort this by item number or by description. This left-hand column that has the checkbox, these are parts, when they're checked, that are also on a shopping template, which I'll talk about in a second after I get done with the shopping list. We show the last sale, price and quantity, what's available, the current price for the customer. If it's on a contract, we reference the contract that it's on. And as I said before, if you just go in and type a quantity in here, you can start picking parts to put on the order. We also have up at the top here this past sale button so that you can go and see the past sales for any of these items. If you leave that open and you switch to a different part, the information in that box will change with you. It's just a toggle to turn it on and off, but that's how that works. If you have a long list and you're trying to find a part in this list, you can use the search feature up in the corner. So I'm going to search for the word waste, and that will filter down to just items that have the word waste in the description. So I'm going to place one of these on order also, and for this one I'm going to change it to a 12% margin. While I'm in a filtered view, you will not see totals at the top of the gross margin or extended price. When I come out of that, then you'll see the total of what you have picked from this list to go on the cart and your gross margin. When you have this populated with what you want to put on the shopping cart, a lot of times you have to go scroll through a few screens to see what all you have. That's why we put this filter button above quantity. If you click on that, it'll filter down to just what you have picked to put in the shopping cart. So if that's what you want to do and you're ready to go, then you can just click on the add to cart and it puts it in. The last thing I'm going to show you quickly is the shopping template. This has the same exact functionality as the shopping list, except the parts in here are ones that you designate. You may have seen the add to template button a couple of times, a couple of screens. I talked about on the shopping list that you click on the checkbox to put them in the template. But this is just for the fast moving items or items that you want to make sure you talk to your customer about. All right, so I'm going to go into the cart now and finish up my presentation by going through some of this cart functionality. So we have the ship to. You can pick any ship to number that exists in fax for this customer, or you can pick a temp ship to and drop ship this to the customer or put a different address in. If the PO is required for the customer, we'll highlight the background of this in yellow, and you'll have to put a PO in to place the order. We do pull the ship vias directly from fax based on your warehouse that you've chosen. So you have valid ship vias there. You can change the warehouse if you want here to another warehouse, and that will change every item in the order to the other warehouse and update your available quantity. And your requested date has to be today or greater. You can't put it as yesterday. It'll yell at you and make you change it. Down in the bottom section, we have this notes. So there are two types of notes you can put in here. The first top section, this is your header notes for the sales order. Looks just like the line notes. You can put on pick ticket or invoice or both. The internal notes are related to an email that gets sent from ProMobile to an inside salesperson or inside staffer to process these orders once they get sent in. That's an automatic function that happens when the orders get placed in fax. And if you have a note to give to that inside person telling them, for instance, the customer's picking up the order at 4, you can put that in there. When there are notes in one of those sections, your background on the notes button will turn yellow. At the bottom of the screen, we have our parts. You can edit or delete any of these lines. If you want to edit, you can add your notes, you can change your price. If you have the ability in your settings to set multiple warehouses on a single order, then you'll be able to change your warehouse. We have a legend down here that you can see tells what's going on. The pink means this part number has been overridden. If there's an exclamation point in the quantity field, it means your order quantity is more than what's available. The parts can still be ordered, but they'll be placed on back order. If there's an exclamation point in the item number, that indicates that this item is inactive, and it will not let you order more than what's available in stock. So, again, once you're ready to place the order, you just hit the order button and hit the order button again, and the order is placed. So the last thing I'm going to show you is, that is the email that goes to the inside person, and this email here is the one with the order acknowledgement that I sent earlier, and you can see it's your standard fax unform order acknowledgement. So that's some of the features of this system. There are a lot more details that I could go into, but I am out of time. So for now, I am going to pass this back over to Tim Plotner.
Great. Thank you, Dale. Appreciate that. Hi, everybody. Great to be back with you and involved in fax again. It's really good to be back. I'm enjoying this. Joining E&A has really been a great experience, and I've loved working with Dale and his team. Hopefully I'll run into more of you at some of the upcoming events like TUG coming up and such. And as always, I certainly love to hear from you anytime with any kind of feedback. So don't hesitate to reach out to me at any point. So ProMobile's been in production now for about 2 years. And is already definitely proving to be a valuable addition to many of our sales teams. As Dale and Kevin both mentioned, this is a growing and expanding product as our customers think of new ways, new features we can add to it, and we are continuously improving it and growing it. You know, great minds come up with good ideas, and we love to hear them so that we can keep making this thing better. I wanted to talk to you briefly. When it comes to ERP software, the software industry has for many years been challenged really over two choices of what to do with some of this legacy software. One of the first ones is to build brand new software from the ground up with new technologies. The only other choice you really have or have had is slowly morphing a large ERP over time. The problem with building brand new software is that it's truly far more difficult than most people were willing to recognize And many have learned the hard way that it's not quite as wonderful as it might seem when you really start over. Most of these mature software packages, Fax included, have really a huge amount of embedded business logic that evolved over many years, and it's often includes a lot of modifications as well. And attempting to recreate all of that rich functionality is nearly impossible. Inevitably, you miss tons of things that are really important and people's business relies on. And that leaves a lot of the brand new software packages looking beautiful, but being terribly lacking in terms of functionality. Not to mention the cost that is associated with exposing and remediating countless new bugs that you incorporate when you're rebuilding an entire ERP package. The problem with slowly morphing a large ERP package is just that, it's really, really slow. And time to market lags, often customers feel left behind, they feel out of date, etc. Well, Infor really flipped the whole discussion. And many years ago, going back quite a few years now, Infor made it a priority for all of their ERPs to start building out extensive APIs. And their goal was to expose as much of, if not all, of the rich business logic that's in the ERP via APIs. And in many cases, eliminating the need to start over as far as building a new software or morph the product in order to deliver new technologies to their ERP customers. You can witness that in most of the Cloud Suite products that Infor is putting out today. So while I was at Infor, I built the API toolkit really as the foundation of that effort for the Fax product. And we started at the time, and over the years that since I built that, we started building out a tremendous number of APIs. Well, the great news is that E&A has absolutely been a leader all along in utilizing those APIs and in building new ones, seeing and understanding the true importance of those. And ProMobile is a perfect example of that in action. This is built on a foundation of APIs that were both new and existing. So what you get with ProMobile is really a fresh new mobile interface, new technologies, new fresh interface that's accessible from any of your smart devices, but it's executing the exact same business logic that your standard ERP executes. So as the Fax business logic itself changes or is modified, all of those changes are automatically picked up by ProMobile. So of course, strong security is also built into the product from the beginning, both in the API toolkit and in the ProMobile application itself. So I'm really grateful to be engaged here with Dale and his team and seeing these things come to life. I hope that resonates with you. And I would love to have a chance to work with you on this in the future and with Dale as well and the team. So with that, I'm going to hand things back to Kevin and let him wrap this thing up.
Thanks, Tim. I love to hear the history here. You know, we've worked together on a number of projects, so it's really insightful to hear, you know, how all this started and how we got to today. Which also helps me set up, you know, what's next. For everybody on the line who has Fax, I want to make sure we say this up front so I don't make a misstep anywhere. Like Tim mentioned, when he embedded and created that API toolkit, that means that the ProMobile product is only available with Fax 7.8 and newer. That's where those APIs were exposed. So to make this product run and be a part of your sales culture, you got to be on Fax version 7.8 or newer. It also requires the PX Plus web server. So many of you probably already have that, but if you don't, that would be something you would buy either through us as your channel partner or through your existing channel partner, or if you're Infor Direct, you would buy direct from them, along with the API toolkit. If you already have, you know, some e-commerce in place that's integrated, you probably already have these products. So those are the three foundational pieces that are required for us to help you incorporate this tool into your sales organization. I'm tickled that Dale and Tim both mentioned how long this product has been out, and because it's been out for more than a couple of years, we got more than a dozen customers on it and more than 100 users on it. So we've got some history in this product. But what we've also been able to do is get that feedback loop from users that would be like you on what else they need with the product. So we had one really interesting one, and this is not a topic that gets covered a whole lot when you talk about fax, but there's an additional product that we can offer you if you have ProMobile, and that's a customer portal. So some of our customers find it a value that they can share with their customer if they can give their customers a order entry pad experience like Dale showed you, that is like the ProMobile tool, but of course we wouldn't share the margins and things like that with them. But for customers who need their own access, your customers who might need their own access, we have the ability to share forward a tool with you that you can use to serve them if they need things like PO number checking, copies of invoices, those kind of things. So ProMobile is not a one product only. It is a product that also has additional features on the back end. You know, in your lines of business, I would assume you would call that product line extension. You know, what else can you get from the tool? This is the kind of tool I wish I'd had when I was a plumbing and HVAC salesman for a distributor, because it would have been useful for me to be able to say, well, no, yes, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, this is your pricing on this commodity, or this is the order you placed last week, or here's your duplicate order, create a new order. All those things would have been available to me in a mobile environment, and I would not have had to call back in for. Couple of things just to make sure you know what is also next and available to you is what now. Again, my name is Kevin Lawson, and if we want to talk pricing or availability and those type of things, I would be your contact. My information is on your screen here. If you're working with another channel partner, we can make sure we connect you with them as well, so we can support you and your business through that other channel partner or through Import Direct. If you have other technical questions, and if you haven't already, and you got some questions you want to ask on this presentation, please use that chat feature. But product and technical questions would go to Dale. So Dale and his team have developed and support this product, and I have the pricing information, so we can serve you in that capacity. You can reach us at the emails on the screen or the phone number published right there. Gloria, I'm going to reach out to you and make sure that you know that I'm ready for Q&A right now. While you're gathering those, I can share some of the questions we normally get. First question we normally get is, does it require additional fax users, fax licenses? And the answer to that is no. We don't require, as part of this, additional fax users. So if you're thinking about how this would be deployed, that's not part of the cost here. Gloria, how are we doing on the chat messages there?
We have one question right now in the question bank that says, are salespeople able to see projects like a project manager, or is this just to see sales orders?
So this is just for the sales orders and quotes. We don't tie at this point to the project management package. There have been discussions about doing that, but at this point we don't have that feature.
Right now, that's the only question that we have in our question bank. Are there any other frequently asked questions that you'd like to address at this time to see if anything else populates, gentlemen?
Sure. So we always get the price question, so we can go ahead and put that out for you. This is a subscription model for us. It's you as a distributor would buy it on a per user per month basis, and the price on that is $50 per user per month with a 5-user minimum. That is the minimum system requirements for us to get this deployed and out to you and your teams and your customers. And it is a year. We sell it on a year contract, a minimum of 1 year. We will certainly offer it to you in longer terms, but 1 year is our minimum term contract for that. We do get a question about credit cards and do we process them here? And the answer is no. We don't process credit card data. That is something that would be done through your normal AR channels. So that's another frequently asked question that we get. Beyond that, people ask us to make sure, just for clarity, they say, well, does it work with any type of phone, Google or Android or Apple? And again, the answer is yes. Is it the same interface for a web browser or a phone or a tablet, same interface, it just scales. We get most of our successful installations are using the tablets to be effective out in the field to gain that information and have enough screen real estate to be able to effectively use the tool mobile. But again, it's really about cutting the cord with facts. You know, the traditional model was always, I've got to either go find a wireless hotspot, use a wireless hotspot, get the service, or call in to answer that price and availability question, or the, hey, add this to an order question. All of those things were typically transacted via, you know, phone or email or after hours, or getting to a place where you can stop and do the work. Now we're enabling you and your sales teams and empowering them to do that work in a much more customer service oriented way with this tool. So that's really the main questions we frequently get, Gloria.
I have one more that's been entered.
Okay.
Will we ever be able to edit quotes after they have been entered?
Will you ever be able to edit quotes after they're entered? Dale, that's a technical question. Would you field that one?
So I never say never. That is not on our roadmap at this point. We have stuck primarily, as far as quotes and orders and that, stuck with what fax APIs come standard with the system. The challenge with doing a quote edit or a quote release, which we are looking at, is that we don't want to have to go in and make changes to every customer's fax system. So we have to develop and design that in a way that we can do it through an API that doesn't affect the existing fax system. Otherwise, it becomes a major nightmare to us when we try to put out an update, because we have to actually make changes to fax itself, and we're trying very hard to avoid that at this point.
Thanks,
so
Dale.
we're looking at it, but not yet.
Good.
That concludes the questions that I have that have been posted thus far. So the only thing that I'd like to add at the conclusion of this program is that this has been recorded. It will be posted to our website, the TUG website, tomorrow, and also will be posted in the All Members tab. So if you want to have it for future reference, or if you'd like to share it with any colleagues in your organization or in your networking circle, you can go ahead and share that link. Otherwise, gentlemen, I want to just say very well done. And as they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Thanks, Gloria. This has been a lot of fun today. Thanks for allowing us this time with you and the TUG members. And thank you all for joining us today.
And
Yes,
thank
thank you.